in addition to being a part of the conversation locally, we also have to remember that there are parts of the culture that we can impact and parts of the culture that we can participate in. And we talked last week about the Obama, or the YouTube interviews Obama thing, and Fishy and I last night we did a 1 hour, although it was cut down from a little bit more than that, discussion about just the importance of interacting with people through the channel of YouTube, through this kind of the culture that YouTube has. Fishy, if you want to cut into this a little bit.
Yeah, we just wanted people to get a fuller perspective on what we were seeing that other people might have been missing. And so we talked a little bit about the value of YouTube and what it was good for, how that's such a vast audience, the way that the culture's changing, the way that especially younger voters are getting their information. And then we spent some time actually breaking down a YouTube video from an unaffiliated, I guess you said he describes himself as fiscally conservative, socially liberal, guy who's got about 3 million subscribers that watch him on a regular basis. We took one of his videos, took it apart, bit by bit, and talked about the way that he suckered all those people. I don't mean suckered in a bad way, but he drew in all these people and had a statement about poverty and the State of the Union address with some surprising results. We're not going to get into the whole bit about what was said. You can watch that for yourself. I'm putting the video link in the chat right now. But it is an interesting discussion, I thought, between the two of us about the utility of YouTube that conservatives are overlooking, what the conservatives and Republicans can do with YouTube in an attempt to reach people that they don't currently reach, and go around the mainstream media to do it, which has always been an issue. Our candidates tend to start talking to people, a few months before the election, running ads and things like that in national markets on major television networks, and they're missing so many people. And we come up with some suggestions of how they could do YouTube better, and maybe some ways that it's valuable that people didn't think of.
Yeah, and it's just another thing that has really been, I don't know, ignored largely by the right is the fact that, and something that we talked about in this discussion, was that YouTube is a great democratizer. It's something that anybody can pick up a camera and put a video up on YouTube, and we have people on our side who neglect to realize the similarities between the blogosphere and the questions of just a blogger, and that was something that everybody was upset about for the longest time. I think it was Michelle Malkin who somebody said that she was just a blogger, and that hashtag became a thing, and there was a lot of mileage gotten out of that.
And don't forget that there was a lot of questions a few years back about credentialing journalists for the purposes of being able to exercise their First Amendment rights, and that you would only have them if you were credentialed. There were people who won in the new media, hard-fought victory there over being legitimized and not being credentialed out of media, new media.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what really, one of those things that drives me nuts is that for whatever reason a lot of us don't really see the fact that these are our brothers in a sense, that this kind of the way that you take people who are not stars, they're not famous, they're not anyone of particular reputation, and they have built for themselves an audience of millions of people. They've been seen billions of times in some cases, and are talking to the president. They're talking to the president. That's not a small thing. and we just sort of thumb our nose and say, oh, these people are jokesters that are playing around on the internet.
The main thing I wanted people to understand and take away from that, and then this is really, the rest of it people really need to see for themselves in the video, is that the most important thing to take away from YouTube Interviews Obama is that conservatives can tap this vast market of people, and if we don't, the left will, and they will keep them.
Yeah, Fishy and I actually had a conversation earlier today, and I really wanted to kind of piggyback on what she was saying there, in that where's the conservative version of The Daily Show? I'm not suggesting that we actually need one. What I'm suggesting is that we throw up our own roadblocks and say, oh, it's the media. Oh, it's the media. We can't get our message out because it's the media. Well, we don't have any more excuses. We have tons of ways that we can get the message out. I can rattle off at least half a dozen ways, methods of getting it out. You've got, and Fishy will actually start to follow up on me and go, oh, you missed this, this, and this, and that's the sad thing. You go, here's your big ones. You got Facebook, you've got Twitter, you've got YouTube. There's 3 right there, okay? And Fishy's going to be like, oh, but you forgot all those other ones. You're exactly right. I'm not forgetting them. I'm just not mentioning them because there's too many. There are so many forms with which you can get your message out. Where's the conservative stars, though? That's my question.
What I'm going to do is say that if we had someone from the right or nominally from the right who was in the position of Jon Stewart, who didn't take a right, hard right, red, raw, red meat, bloody right stance on things, that the conservative community would reject him. That is my theory.
You know, like Fishy was saying, you know, we wait until the very end, the last few months, and then our before an election, and our candidate comes out and tries to suddenly win everybody over. Well, the left is marketing their message out there all the time. Well, this also affects. Remember, we were saying, my gosh, we can't get people, you know, to walk neighborhoods. Fishy puts together all this training, this great training that makes it easy, that shows them how they can get involved, and very few people want to. Part of that is because the Republican Party is something that, and the conservative movement, in terms of elections, is something that almost doesn't happen and just spontaneously arrives on the scene a few months before every election and then goes away. Now, when you're on YouTube and releasing these things on YouTube constantly, and using your actors, your writers, and so forth, and doing that, is keeping conservatism in the eye of the people all the time.
Everybody attacked him as if he was a liberal posting in our community. It's like, guys, did you even read the text? He wasn't asking you to follow a link and read some obscure website. Just read the text that accompanied the image. All you're commenting on is the image. You're not even reading the text of the post here.